Hello Battle Cats players, my name is Chance and welcome to my guide. Today we're going to be taking a look at one of the more provocative cats in the game, Unit ID number 15, Panties cat. This special cat is made available after completing Bermuda in Empire of Cats Chapter 2 and can be purchased for 90 cat food. Throughout the course of this video, it is my hope that by discussing the evolutions, performance, strategies, stats, and talents of this particular cat, you can make an informed decision as to when to best use them, as well as how far to invest into them. Ultimately, while I strive to make this guide as comprehensive as possible, there is a possibility that I will leave some things out or misrepresent them accidentally. So I strongly suggest that you check the comment section before you commit to a decision. Now that the introduction is out of the way, let's take a look at Panties cat's evolutions. Panties cat follows the exact same progression as all of the other special cats covered thusly. Namely, at level 10 it will evolve into Leaf cat. Then after achieving a level of 20 or above, completing the level Panties Awaken, either through the first or second stage, will lead to you unlocking the final evolution, Lollycat. The Panties Awaken level will be made available the third day of any month from 700 hours to 1400 hours, or 7 in the morning to 2 in the afternoon, and the fourth day in any month from 1700 hours to 0 hours, or 5 o'clock to midnight. And this form first made its appearance on May 25th, 2015. Both stages within the Panties Awaken levels are titled No Frills Evolution and will cost 150 energy. As far as the in-game text is concerned, Panties cat is the cold weather is nothing against the warm woolen material, advanced variation of Sexy Legs cat. And the cat looks just like a normal sexy leg cat, but wears pink striped panties tied by a ribbon. I should call her. The evolved form Leaf cat has the description, has the only important point covered, not sure if it offers any protection, advanced variation of Sexy Legs cat. And at this point, it's just a leaf kind of reminiscent of the older Adam and Eve paintings, but just small. Funny enough, it falls down after an attack, and then another one just takes its place, so it's kind of strange. And finally, the true form Lollycat has the in-game description, used to be ashamed to go into battle exposed, but a kind cat came along and lent a hand, or lollipop, gained area attacks. At this point, the legs part is assumingly nude, and a smaller cat follows beside it with a lollipop and smashes that into enemies. Every once in a while it'll lick it as well. Now that you have a thorough grasp on Panties cat's evolutions, let's take a look at its performance. First and foremost, the class of Panties cats is considered to be a combo slave and a mid-ranger. Combo slaves are units that are essentially useless outside of their cat combos, but that's really about it. And mid-rangers are a unit with a range of 250 to 399 range. Under pros, it has a area attack, albeit owning its true form, long attack range, and short cooldown, as well as a low cost. Under cons, however, you have low health, low damage, and single target for normal and evolved. Without getting into too much detail right now, I'm sure many of you can already tell that this cat is somewhat underwhelming, at least within the context of its normal and evolved form. To have low health, low damage, while also being a single target cat is quite damnable, especially when you factor in that at this point there are no special considerations that would elevate this cat's status. But with that being said, now let's watch some gameplay and discuss how to best use this cat. Firstly, as far as costs are concerned, at Chapter 1, this cat will be priced at 350 cents, Chapter 2 at 525 cents, and Chapter 3 at 700 cents. So not terribly expensive, not terribly cheap, very much middle of the road. For the vast majority of this game, this cat is just thoroughly underwhelming. The only exception is really when you first unlock it, and really even at that point it can get easily outclassed. At best, you could consider them an additional Sexy Legs cat, one that you paid cat food for. There is, however, a slight use case for a few of its cat combos, which we will of course address in a little bit. As far as its true form is concerned, it really doesn't get much better. While there is a slight argument to be made that it does unlock a few additional cat combos, this cat requires significant NP investment to simply become viable in a handful of stages. To call it disappointing is quite an understatement, and I would like to see Ponos retool this to make it more viable for the mid and even endgame, as I really believe that paying cat food in any amount for a unit of this status is quite frankly insulting, especially considering it really is just a redesign of Sexy Legs Cat, and not even a very good one at that. So I can't even say it looks particularly good in the grand scheme of things. I suppose the only real saving grace is that, as one of the lower torso cats, it does pair interestingly with a few of the other ones, making some quite cursed imagery if you wish it. Although that's hardly a defense of its stats and traits. Little more than a consolation prize, really. In all honesty, I don't think I've ever in any way used this cat before making this video. And unless a major rework is done on it, which I doubt will ever happen, I really wouldn't recommend investing too many resources into it. I suppose you could make an argument for its cat combos, and we will discuss those fairly soon, but outside of that, and I guess perhaps user rank, this cat just simply doesn't compare to many of the others that you will get after this point. And with a cat food investment thrown in there, it's really just quite sad. Now with the strategy section over with, let's talk about its cat combos. First up, we have Lingerie Special. This is a worker cat startup, and in the small department as well. It involves bra cats and panties cat, and increases the initial worker cat level by 1. Ultimately, I find these to be quite underwhelming at really any point in the game outside of the very beginning, so if you're past that stage, I wouldn't advise this. Up next, we have Lolly Fantasiers. This is a slow effect up of the small variety, and involves a lolly cat and a little Nidam as well. As a slow effect up, it increases slow duration by 10%. I actually think this is very good. My reasoning for that is there are a good amount of the enemies that cause the slow effect that also do area effect attacks as well. And to have multiple enemy units slowed really does increase your overall survivability and odds to do damage. Given a large enough stack size, it is also possible to constantly knock back slowed enemies, in essence preventing them from attacking altogether. And for a 2-cat-cat combo, I actually think this is quite good. Up next, we have Sweets. This is a cannon recharge up of the medium variety, and it involves Lolly Cat, Pastry Cat, and Marshmallow Cat. And it will allow the cat cannon to recharge 10 seconds faster. This is another one I'm actually quite fond of. Not for every stage, but certainly for a couple specialty ones that pair very nicely with the different cat cannons. Zombie stages come to mind at the moment, but I'm sure there are others. Up next, we have Scantily Clad. This is a massive damage effect up of the medium variety, and it involves Ferroreca, Skirt Cat, and Panties Cat, and increases the effect of massive damage by 20%. The massive damage tag is a special ability applied to some cats that give it either ×3 or ×4 damage against certain traits. That amount is determined by whether or not you have the corresponding cat fruits to back it up. This cat combo has the ability to trivialize some stages given the right party composition. And lastly, we have a Breakfast in Undies. This is a slow effect up of the small variety involving Cat Toaster and Panties Cat, and increases slow duration by 10%. My thoughts on this are identical to Lolly Fanciers. It's good. Now that you have a good grasp on all of the cat combos, let me just flash you a couple of the stat screens and graphs relating to Panties Cat. And while I'm doing that, seeing as how there is no real trivia for this particular unit, I just want to take this time to thank everyone who's been supportive so far. While I am still a very small creator, and I still have a long way to go towards improving my videos, I really am grateful and humbled by everyone who's been so kind and supportive so far. It's definitely made creating this content a lot easier on me, and made it much easier towards justifying the time I sink into this channel. So from the bottom of my heart, I thank you all. There are a lot of very exciting things coming up on the horizon, and I'm looking forward to see you all be a part of those. A few of you have made recommendations on the type of content you would like to see on this channel, and I'm more than happy to explore those ideas. So please keep them coming. At this particular junction, I have quite a backlog of content scheduled into the future, and I am planning on maintaining that throughout the majority of this channel's lifespan. So if you don't see changes right away, it's simply because there's a backlog of content, but I promise you I'll always take what all of you say under close consideration. So keep the ideas coming, I really do appreciate it. And of course, to those who are tuning in for the first time, thank you so much for watching until this point. But I do believe that should be long enough to have shown all of the relevant graphs and charts. Now let's discuss the talents that are accessible at level 30. First and foremost, there's the slow talent, which adds a 30% chance to slow for about 1 1/3 seconds. Improves by 0.3 seconds per level up to 4 seconds total, and the total NP cost for this is 215. Immune to weaken at an NP cost of 75. Resist freeze, which reduces freeze duration by 16% and improves by 6% per level up to 70%, for a total NP cost of 125. Then you have your standard defense and attack buff that increase by 8% per level up to 80% for a total of 125 NP respectively. This cat is in an interesting position. There is an argument to be made that if you invest heavily into the slow ability, the defense and attack buff, as well as stack it with a few of the aforementioned slow up cat combos, this cat can be a very prominent game changer on certain metal stages, as it is able to area attack slow at a pretty dang good duration with all of those factors factoring in. However, it cannot be stressed enough that that requires a significant amount of NP to pull off. And NP being such a precious resource at every stage of the game, I have a very hard time internally justifying this choice. As far as the other talents are to be concerned, they really are just garbage. Immune to weaken and resist freeze have got to be some of the most useless talents out there, certainly on a disposable unit such as this. They're just not worth it. Outside of that, I believe the defensive buff and the slow buff both take priority over the attack buff, as even with that ability maxed out, there are going to be better damage dealers at really every point in the game. So in terms of an overall priority to the talent list, slow and defensive buff take priority, followed up by attack buff, and that's it. Don't even bother speccing into immune to weaken or resist freeze. It's just not worth it. If you do all of that, there's a very prominent position for this cat on your team when it comes up against metal enemies in particular. However, whether or not that's worth it to you will really depend on what other cats you have unlocked. Perhaps I'm wrong on this. If so, let me know down beneath. As always, feel free to share your thoughts. While that really is everything to say about this cat, I'll just wrap out with a quick outro. As always, thank you everyone who supported and everyone who will continue to support moving on into the future. I urge everyone to, of course, check out the community tab of this channel, as there's always some cool stuff going on in there, certainly worth looking into if nothing else. And I am very, very optimistic about this channel. I've been giving it a lot of thought, and I have a lot of very good ideas for this space that I think, if done properly at least, could be very valuable for this entire community, regardless of how long they've been involved in it. Of course, at least during the beginning of this channel's life, this will always be a beginner-focused channel, but I really would like for it to serve as kind of an all-in-one destination for Battle Cats-related information. I do have a couple more fun videos planned too, but right now the guides take priority. In any case, thank you so much everyone, and don't forget to like and subscribe for Cat God's blessing on your next gotcha roll, and until next time, talk to you all soon.